Up for debate this week, we discuss the biggest surprise in the Central Division, whether that's good, bad, or the other way. Would it be the Minnesota Wild off to what was kind of a hot start, still a decent start? The Colorado Avalanche, Alexis, I don't know why you put them in there, but sure.
Because they're not at the top of the division because the Wild are up there.
Okay. Or the Chicago Blackhawks, who some people thought were going to be really good and not only are a terrible organization, but also really, really bad. So Alexis, do you want to start?
Sure. My choice here would be the Wild. And everybody knows I'm always rooting for the Wild to succeed. I put him at the top of the Central Division. I just like to say stuff sometimes. I mean, I do like partially believe most of what I say, but at the same time, I just like to stir the pot. I didn't actually think the Wild were like truly going to win the division. I'm like, I'm just going to say this because it's a hot take and I love the Wild. So go Wild, win the division.
But you did think that. So
I do think that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, when they got off to the start that they have, and we're recording this on a Friday, they're 5-2 at this point in time, coming off a loss against Seattle, won their first 4 games of the season. Yes, Jesse has a lovely record
5-2
there behind you.
So I remember, because otherwise I forget.
Yeah. They started off the season really hot, with 4 wins. And to me, it was surprising because they went through such turnover in their lineup in the off season that, not that I didn't think the Wild were going to like fail this season. Like I still think they're going to have a successful season. I think they're a playoff team. I think they're, competitive. And I think they're going to give a lot of teams a run for their money in the regular season and hopefully in the playoffs as well. But to see them start off like so hot was a little bit surprising to me. I kind of expected them to be like maybe a 500 team at this point in the season, after about 10 games or so. So yeah, I was a little bit surprised to see the Wild start off the way they did. And especially because they spent most of the first handful of games battling back, from behind. Like, they're chasing the game. They're trying to pick up wins. They start the season on the road, like all of this stuff where it's like, this really wouldn't be in their favor for a team who's had a lot of turnover and whatnot. So the fact that they were able to pick up so many wins and still sit with a pretty good record here after 7 games has been impressive. Now, there's still a lot of teams they haven't played yet that I'm like, okay, that's going to be a good test of what kind of team that this Minnesota Wild team is. So I'm going to wait to see how they perform. They played Colorado on Saturday here. You guys are listening to this after that game happened. We're recording it before. But a team like that's going to be a good test. They haven't played St. Louis yet, who they struggled against last season. Some of those Eastern teams that they don't see very often that are very, very good. They play Pittsburgh this upcoming week. So there's a lot of teams where I'm like, all right, I really need to see how they play against them. But at this point in time, I am slightly surprised with the Wild's winning record just because I expected them more 500. Jesse, we know what your answer is, but take it away.
I just hate everything about the Chicago Blackhawks now. No, I mean, I thought they were going to be sneaky good, and they are so bad. They are sneaky, really bad, like awful. I've never seen like, I mean, there's bad, and then there's Chicago Blackhawks bad, right?
Yeah.
Like, holy cow. I can't even make sense of it. You have Marc-Andre Fleury. You've got I guess Patrick Kane's out on protocol right now, right? But you have like him still being him. Jonathan Toews was healthy. Like, DeBrincat's looking great. Like,
they picked up Seth Jones in the offseason.
Like they shouldn't be as bad. I mean, maybe it was a stretch to say like they would sneak into the playoffs there, but I didn't think they'd be like awful. So now I'm looking like a fool. I'm quitting again for like the 3rd time in this episode because I clearly don't know hockey, clearly don't know what I'm talking about. So definitely them. I would say honorable mention though too to the St. Louis Blues, who I'm shocked are doing as well as they are doing. Like, I did not see that coming. I figured they would be normal St. Louis, right? Like, kind of up and down, blah, blah, blah.
Kind of like the Wild almost.
Yeah, like they're crushing it. They're scoring. I mean, I'm nervous for the Wild to face the Blues for the first time because not only is that historically a very tough matchup, but they're looking awesome. So I would say they're also a big old surprise to me. Everybody else is pretty much what I expected, I guess, minus them in Chicago.